reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
My mug has gone empty. Bartender!
I don't trust lip smilers.
Lip smilers?
People who smile with just lips. They're obviously hiding something.
Happiness mode engaged.
Hello.
Welcome.
Ready for action.
Happy to meet you, hero.
Glad to have you with us.
You'll find everything you need here.
Hail, traveler.
Wake up, you motherless Ettins. It's time to go.
I'd offer the traditional pirate's greeting, but your spleen is better unperforated.
You're listening to Guild Wars Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMOReporter and by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon at doghousesystems.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Guild Wars Reporter. This is episode 165. I am Celeste, and as always, I am joined by the amazing Allona.
Hello, Super Celeste, which is not the name I thought of for you when I was walking home from work today. I completely forgot. What up?
Well, hopefully it wasn't bad.
No, it was amazing. I was like... The chat room would have stood up and clapped. It was so awesome.
Oh, man.
I can't remember what it was.
I feel highly deprived now.
I feel deprived because I also can't remember what it is. But I was like, yes, this is perfect. But no, it hasn't happened.
Boo.
Indeed, boo.
There's been a lot of other disappointing things that happened since our last episode.
Yes?
That may or may not be named very shortly during your What You Did This Week, Allona.
Oh. Yes. I did the Mordrem events.
Mm-hmm.
I only started them on Saturday morning. It looks like I missed a lot of the more headachy portion of the weekend event.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay. Here I was last show saying, hope I don't get boned by not being there when it launches. Nope. Kind of the opposite. So, yay. Fractals and Fungeons. We did Fungeons first this week because you wanted to be around for Fractals, and we had enough people on who needed, and a few of them had not done a raw much, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we started a bit early and ran a raw so that you could be there for Fraggles.
Yes.
And that was fun across the board. I don't remember anything gong show-ish happening with either, to be perfectly honest, so I'll let you expound on that if you can think of anything. I remember having fun. That's what I remember. I streamed a little bit on my personal channel, mostly PvP.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter guided me through the Guild Rush course for my nemesis, Spider Scurry, on Sunday night.
Ah.
And somewhat related, guild missions were super fun this week, and we got Spider Scurry.
I see.
Funny that.
Yeah.
Irish Dog is saying I soloed the Fractal boss again. Not really, because this time the anomaly was very close to dead by the time I was on my lonesome. So, and I feel like there's more, but I can't think what it is. And I meant to message Hunter saying, what did I do in game? And I forgot.
I also fractaled with you, but apparently I thought it was without you.
Yes, she has fractal sans pair. Sad face. I'm like, I was there. What the heck?
I forgot that you were there. I don't know why.
Oh.
I think it was because I was super distracted while we were doing fractals. So
right, because Ben was watching Longmire.
Yes.
On the top volume.
On the TV above my computer.
Yes. Yeah, if you cued it at all, it was really loud.
Yeah. So I had tried not to. Hence the super distraction, not even realizing what was happening. Plus, I feel like I took a dirt nap for like half of the fractals.
I don't remember that.
Like I died 4 or 5 times during my trin.
Yeah, you were having trouble. I almost thought to ask you if you had the indicator circles on.
It was not that bad.
You weren't bad.
No, I just kept running into like corners when it was doing the volley. And I just kept getting trapped.
You were on with your Mesmer, weren't you?
Yeah, my Mesmer is not great at healing either.
No, but if
I should have blinked.
Yes, you should have blink on your bar for that.
Yeah, I realized that after.
Yeah. The other thing that helped me early on with my Mesmer, with that fractal, was sword for blur. Mm-hmm. Like if I got really stuck, I'd wait until it just about hit and then fire off blur so that I'd be like, yay, I don't die.
Okay.
But that was before I got used to the pattern of, finding negative spaces and just moving as little as possible.
That's what I try to do, but it just wasn't working out for me this past week. I also did the Mordrem events. I did one on Friday, for which I did not get any rewards.
Did you get mailed them?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. And apparently I had done a lot because I got like 25 in the mail. I was like, well, all right then. I did them a couple more times during the weekend. I wasn't crazy about it. I liked what they were doing with it, but honestly it felt like the Kessex Hills events with the toxic bloom thingies. I already forgot the name of them. Those events, it felt like that, but just a little bit reskinned. Some of it did. Come on.
Yeah. No, I think you're not wrong there. I don't have a problem with that, but I don't think you're wrong.
I didn't hate them, but after like 3 or 4, I was like, yeah, okay, I got this. This is just grindy. Blech.
Did you do the one in Kessex where it was in the furthest south?
I did not do any in Kessex. I will admit to that.
It was the last Mordrem event that I did, and it was in the southwest corner, down where a lot of the undead are. Mm-hmm. I was fighting at this event. It was a catapult event, and Hunter's chatting with me. He was like, that event scales up. No one ever does it. And we got enough catapults up that we got it down to like 1 hit would have taken this thing down, the vine thingy that was up on the hill. It took me the whole 20 minutes, but we killed that vine thing. I kept dying and going back. I had broken armor by the end. And he was like, just leave it. And I'm like, no, I am going to take that thing down. And if it's the last thing I do.
Gotta kill it.
So I managed to get a catapult up again and then got 1 hit off before being taken down again. And it was like, gold. Goodness.
Yeah, the catapult ones were like really unforgiving unless you had like at least 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, I kind of wish there were no terragriffs at those ones.
Yeah.
Anything else, just not terragriffs. That one took me the longest to get the knack of, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Overall, I thought it was fine. Just that they didn't really go very well. Oh, I was doing world completion, and I was in Timberline Falls, and somebody said, hey, you should go buy this thing from this merchant because it's part of the treasure hunter collection. I was like, okay. So I go over there and buy it, and I'm like, I wonder what else I'm missing for this. So I ended up doing the Flame Temple Tombs where you kill Rendak and all that stuff. Trying to get the treasure hunter stuff completed. At least the stuff that I can get from, like, merchants and karma people, because that's easy enough, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, someday Chalice of from Rendak will drop for me, but today is not that day. Hey, at least for Sam, the Ogre Wars meta has been fixed, so it's possible.
Also, that reminds me, I did the Ogre Wars, I think, for the first time ever.
Oh, wow.
Because it's fixed.
Huh. What did you think of it?
It was an event.
Mm-hmm.
It was Fields of Ruin event completer, so there was a ton of people there. So it went quick.
Yeah, I was trying to do an event for one of the merchants, and apparently the daily had like 2 minutes left, and people were on /M going, events? 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 And I'm like, oh, well, there's an event over here if you're really desperate. But I didn't realize that it was the daily. And then all of a sudden, this like flood of Zerg comes towards me to finish the event. And I'm like, oh, hello, army of players. How are you today?
There's a comic in that somewhere.
Probably. So let's go ahead and talk about when we live stream. We live stream on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. EDT, 6:30 p.m. PDT at twitch.tv/MMOreporter. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or you can watch us on YouTube, even if that's what you would prefer. And remember to rate and review us, like and subscribe, all that good stuff, so that people know that we're, a decent podcast and can say English words. And most of the time our episodes are out exactly at Friday at about 7 a.m. So, we're pretty consistent.
We are consistent, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people leave us reviews telling us that. And we got one from iTunes. From SW Mom from the US on the 27th of August. Great Guild Wars podcast. The hosts do a great job covering the latest happenings in the Guild Wars community. Plus, they seem to be having a good time doing it, which we do.
Mm-hmm.
They always put a smile on my face. Hooray!
You put a smile on my face, SW Mom.
Yes. Silver Waist Mom.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see when I see that. So yay.
Think we're ready for another attack?
From land, air, or sea, we won't be caught off guard again.
Report from Lion's Arch.
So there was a patch on Tuesday the 15th.
Long live Lion's Arch.
There was a couple of changes to the camera options, which I found exceedingly funny because we were saying that it was very unclear what all of the sliders were doing. And I'm not sure if we said that during fractals or if we had said it on the show. I really don't remember.
We talked about it on the show, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So then, yes, they're totally listening. They added a vertical position near slider to the camera options. The existing vertical position slider has been renamed to vertical position far.
Mm-hmm.
Added greater precision to the camera position sliders. Adjusted some default camera positions when using the adjust camera to character height camera option.
Mm-hmm. I haven't played with them yet since the patch came in, so
I haven't either.
I should have to do that. I should have to.
You should have to.
I should have to do that.
Achievements for the previous beta weekend have been disabled from the achievements tab, which, fine.
Did you get them all done?
No.
I have to be honest, I didn't either. I didn't even really try.
I think I got a couple just as...
'Cause?
Yeah. I wasn't tracking them by any means.
Well, I think it was mostly there for testing purposes anyway, so...
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal.
Yep. Black Lion chest keys from the early personal story rewards have been limited to 1 per week account-wide.
Honestly, I don't understand.
I'm actually fine with this.
Yeah. I was thinking that I basically have given up on the key farming because it's not worth my time.
Mm.
And even if I were to do it, it would be once per week anyway. So
once per week seems like it's fine. The only problem that I've run into with this is for folks that are just buying the game and decide, okay, I'm going to do the story at 10 on character A. And then I'm going to get character B up to that level and do the story like back to back. Like maybe they're different races, different choices, that sort of thing. And then they only get a key from one of them.
That's true. Yeah, no, from that point of view.
Yeah, from the new player point of view, that really kind of sucks. But from the veterans that are already, you know, getting pretty slow, I would think, on doing key farming characters, I don't see a huge issue with this. I pretty much do it like once a week anyway, so whatever.
Yeah. Serene Tempest in chat room is saying that she has tons of the level 20 scrolls and uses them to do the key farm. You know, that's probably a good use for them. I just never have. Is it once per level 10 reward or for each race at level 10? Because they're technically different stories. It says per account.
Yes, it's per account. So it's definitely locked off to where you will get one Black Lion key from personal story per week on your account.
I guess this is just for the new players. Just space that out. If you know that you want a black... the word needs to get out for them to know this.
Definitely. And hopefully there's some sort of indicator in the game that lets them know, hey, you guys, you might be doing this, but you're not going to get a key for it. Because I foresee that people who haven't read the patch notes and just keep playing the game or something like that, and they go in and they do it and they go, hey, I didn't get my key.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's a notice in there. Have I tested it? No. So it is what it is.
I'm a little surprised it took this long, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. It's one of those fixes that you saw on the horizon, but you totally didn't think was actually going to happen.
Well, I wonder if they thought the changes they made to the original changes that kind of nerfed key farming. I wonder if that they, we got this lockdown, and then we're like, oh crap, they are persistent. We have to do something else.
Perhaps. Related, they have increased the drop rate of Black Lion chests and Black Lion chest keys throughout the world. Full disclosure, I totally got a Black Lion chest key from a map completion this week.
Yay!
I don't think that the drop rate on chests was really an issue.
No. And actually, it's interesting because, I was talking with Hunter about this, and he was saying that the chests have gone up in price.
That somebody speculated and bought up all of the really cheap ones, so it just kind of stabilized at a higher price because of that.
Oh, okay.
This was a couple of months ago, I think.
Serene Tempest is saying she broke the key farm because of her luck. Probably.
But honestly, time and the drop rate wiki tables will tell whether or not this really happens. The Laurel vendor now sells 1 hour of the new item booster, replacing the Laureate Magic Find booster, and then the new Experience booster, replacing the Laureate Experience booster. So, that's good. Consolidation is a good thing.
Yay. I really do need to get better at using boosters.
I've got half a bank tab, practically, filled with boosters that I never
forget to use. Yeah.
Yeah. I have the XP one on the character that I'm leveling up, and then the rest of them just stay in the bank. I never use them. And there were some changes to Engineer in that they fixed a bug for the Grenadier trait, which made grenade throws less accurate.
That was my problem all along.
Yes, now you know.
I haven't been on Engineer in a long time.
I haven't either. They also messed with the arrow cart line of sight again. So I guess that there is still some issues happening there. For the next 4 days, the Complete Living World Season 2 pack is 40% off in the upgrades category of the Gem Store. So you can complete your playthrough of all 8 episodes leading up to Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns. It's 5 today, so it'll be 4 tomorrow, 3 on Friday.
There you go.
So 3 days. And just so you know, with the season pack, the price will scale down depending on how many episodes you have unlocked versus locked. So if you're only missing 1, you're going to be able to get that 1 episode 40% off.
That's pretty generous.
It is. So, if you're missing 1 and you think, fine, I'll get it.
Just like that.
go ahead and get it.
Yeah.
Because normally they're like a ridiculous gem cost. I think it's like 200 gems. I don't remember.
That's what, like $2 or $3? That's not much.
No, it's not. But if you're having to convert or something like that, then it can be.
Yes, then it's more expensive. Real world money, meh. In-game money, well.
Exactly. I also put a link to a video from Inks about his ideas for the Black Lion chest and its drop rate while using keys, obviously. And some of the changes, and I agreed with a lot of them. But some of the pricing changes that he says would be good, I agree. It would be. But Guild Wars 2 is out to make money. That's how they support themselves.
However, I don't think they're selling a lot of the boosters in the first place because they're overpriced. This is one of those...
There's only 3 boosters now.
But still, well, okay, maybe we don't know what it's like now.
Right.
But they do drop a lot from the chests.
Oh my god, yes.
They're still dropping ones from the chests that aren't available in the gem store.
Yeah. That's why you get old ones stacking up in your bank.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that they'll figure out, like, I kind of agree with them that, yes, they need to make money, but if they're priced at a point that no one's going to buy them, they're not making any money at all, so reducing them in price, perhaps people will buy them more.
Well, I think that's why they have these little pop-up sales. I mean, you buy keys once a month, right? You limit yourself.
Yeah, once a month.
Oh, okay. So like 3 or 4 times a month. Got it. So, I mean, like, people are buying them. People spend a lot of money on gems. People, they pay for this sort of stuff. It's just not every player.
No.
And I think the point of a lot of the streamlining would encourage every player to want to buy keys or earn keys or what have you. And some of these changes, I think, would really help with that, too.
So I also agreed with a lot of what he was saying, but I'd be okay with removing boosters or making them drop less frequently from the chests.
Definitely.
Or I would also be okay with keeping them in the chests and removing them from the gem store entirely, if they weren't selling.
But I think with the consolidation down to just 3 boosters in the store means that they are starting to sell again because it's a lot simpler.
Yeah. I loved his brief rant about the tomes of knowledge. He was getting salty, to use the vernacular of the day.
Yes, indeed. It's like, everybody has these. I don't need them.
Also, I loved his idea for the Black Lion chest.
Oh my gosh,
idea as one of the ultra rare items that could possibly... I think that is a fantastic idea.
And if they did it so that the weapon you chose was account bound, they wouldn't have to worry about skewing the market at all.
And I was thinking that. Although realistically, super rare, so drops as frequent. Like he was saying that he opened 150 chests and never got a single one of the nodes.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking this too, like, oh, if you did that, they'd probably need to be made account bound. But then I was thinking, no, I don't. Oh, yes, maybe sclerite or fused might be the ones that could potentially suffer, but they're not. I mean, some of them are like 4,000 gold or something insane. I'm making up numbers on the spot. I have no idea. Hunter, how much are they?
It's definitely above 4,000 gold. Yes.
Yes. So, even if that dropped by half, that's still like crazy expensive.
Yeah, it still would keep its rarity, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But to slowly introduce them into the economy would be helpful as well. Either way, I think it's a great idea.
I think it's fantastic. I like the idea that you could choose whichever one you wanted. Of course, if it isn't account bound, everyone's going to choose fused.
Well, okay, yeah. It's kind of electro blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you made it that you could choose one from this set and you were given the option, like locked down by set rather than choose any of the skins out there, then that could be one way around that. Although I don't want to lock it down. I do love the idea of
any set
and account bound.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to do it if they were going to add something like this. But then again, this is just a fan making suggestions and, about that camera slider. So, maybe think about it.
Like we have more pull than inks.
We totally don't.
We got a teaser image on Monday that was looking kind of badass. And today, MMORPG got to tell us the name of the engineer specialization, and it is the Scrapper.
Mm-hmm.
The Scrapper. And I'm bummed that it wasn't the Forge, because that's what had been guessed.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe because of data mining. I have no idea exactly where it came from exactly, but everyone it's going to be the Forge. The Forge is the name. And so Cal made an NG just the other night called Geordie the Forge.
Ah!
And now Geordie the Forge is useless.
But what about Bert the Hurt?
Yeah, he still is Bert. That's a Necro.
Oh, I thought Bert was his NG.
No, his NG is Fep. He's a Wed Dwagon.
That's right.
So,
sorry.
But he actually made him look like Geordie LaForge. It was awesome. And now it is a useless character.
Yeah, I think Forge would have actually worked well because it ties in with the Iron Forgeman and stuff like that. It had some pretty deep ties.
I do get the critiques that a Forge is a thing, not a title.
Also true.
I'm okay with the name Scrapper, honestly. I just... Geordie the Forge.
It's a great name, man.
Oh,
I would keep him.
So bummed. Or he would make a new one, not Geordie the Forge. Like my recording name tonight.
Not Geordie the Forge.
Sad face. We knew from previous screenshots released that the weapon was going to be the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And mobile drones, which they're calling...
Gyros.
See, I just see gyros when I see that.
I think it's gyros for gyroscopic.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gyros for being...
they fly.
Yes. But now I'm hungry and want gyros. Bill Murphy went on to talk about a few of the skills that come with Hammer. Rocket Charge, which is skill 3. With it, engineers repeatedly leap forward, swinging the hammer at enemies after each jump. And yes, you guessed it, you'll be using those awesome rocket boots that never get enough love.
Yep.
Love those rocket boots. Shock Shield, skill 4, magnetizes the hammer to attack enemies as well as block incoming attacks. Gotta love blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderclap, skill 5, players reach into the sky and use the hammer to call down bolts of electricity that stun enemies and deal damage over time, as well as leaving a pulsing lightning field at the point of impact. That sounds so Thor.
Yes. I actually love this. I think that's pretty awesome. Of course they were going to give the engineer a hammer, so of course it has to call down lightning like Thor.
Well, and I actually thought it was... When Wooden Potatoes was talking about this, there's Thunderclap was an NG skill in Guild Wars 1. Ellie.
Yeah, Thunderclap was an Ellie skill.
So he thought that at one point when the Tempest hadn't been revealed, he was guessing that maybe they might get Thunderclap.
Mm.
But it's interesting because engineers didn't exist in Guild Wars 1. So, with how magics can move and change throughout Tyria.
Yeah.
They get this. I like that they're keeping things from Guild Wars 1, but spreading them out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited about the fact that it's a lightning field to blast all the things.
All the things. There will be, of course, a variety of the function gyros. Gyros. I just see gyros. Function gyros. The Purge Gyro will zip around with you, cleansing yours and your allies' conditions every so often. The team designed this one as a means to give the engineer some much-needed defense against conditions. And it reminded me a lot of an NG version of Phantasmal Disenchanter.
Makes sense.
So I love the Phantasmal Disenchanter. So yay! I think that is Awesome. I hope it plays well.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a lot more, but they didn't exactly go into it because it was just like, here's the teaser one.
Yeah, we'll learn more on Friday, I presume.
4 points of interest.
The article finished up with an interview with Aurelio Calman-Hoang. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. Game designer at ArenaNet in charge of the Scrapper. I love the first question. Why Hammer?
Well, I'm paraphrasing. Paraphrased.
You paraphrased. I wanted that to be the actual, because it's like, do you remember Jiminy Glick?
Yeah.
I was like, I could just see him like, why Hammer? That's why I love that question. Oh, well, okay. I can't make fun of it now because...
I'm sorry. It was like 3 lines of question. I'm like, basically he's asking why Hammer. So why Hammer?
I love that. Okay. The answer... Engineer has a solid long-range and mid-range option, as well as a couple more niche close-range builds. Despite how fun bombs and flamethrower can be, neither really gives you a strong melee feel. Trying to achieve that sense of close-quarter combat was the natural place to look when you saw what the profession was already capable of. Once we'd narrowed the goal down to adding a melee weapon to the profession, the hammer was the clear victor. And it totally makes sense because... it needed to be a two-handed weapon.
Yes, definitely.
Because otherwise you're pairing a melee weapon with pistol.
Mm-hmm.
The other question, which is this also... can I assume all the questions are paraphrased?
They're not.
Okay. just the one that I called it. The original trailer shows more than one hovering near the Scrapper. Can an engineer have more than one gyro active at a time? Yes, you can have multiple gyros out at a time. So you can mix and match gyros.
A gyro for each hand. You can dual wield gyros.
No, I'm so hungry, I need 2 gyros. One thing we've seen people cry out when the drones are shown is that we hope they're more than just copies of the Guardian's spirit weapons. Well, are they? They're actually fairly different from spirit weapons, in addition to each coming with its own tool belt skill. More on those later. Depending on the gyro, they will try to remain close to you, strike out at a targeted enemy, or seek to aid allies based on a number of factors. Yay. Oh, and shield. Right. Yeah. Shield.
Hunter reminded us that is an offhand that the engineer gets.
Main hand melee with shield would have been fantastic.
Kind of like smart pets. Yeah.
Or, well, a little bit more like... yeah, minions or phantasms. Like they're mobile, which is nice.
Closer to phantasms, actually, but mobile. More mobile.
It's interesting more people are calling them like the spirit weapons. I guess because they float. And spirit weapons are basically like phantasms.
Yes, but I think this was pre-knowing anything. Like this is just the initial reveal that we had gotten on MMORPG, so...
True. How do you see the Scrapper fitting into a group in raids? Can you give us some examples of how they help out compared to a traditional ranged engineer? The Scrapper is skilled at locking down enemies and when traded for it, granting super speed to allies. During raids in particular, this helps greatly with shattering enemy break bars and ensuring that your team can get where it needs to be.
This is good. I like this. It makes the engineer more useful, I think. Despite the fact that they are already extremely useful.
They are. I can see me liking this gameplay quite a bit, actually. I tend to go rifle with my NG.
Mine too.
But if I wanted to go melee, obviously we don't have all the information yet, and we haven't seen it or got our hands on it yet. But just based on this little snippet of information, I could see it being a really fun playstyle.
I'll be eager to try it. Go and bash people's heads in.
Yeah. You asked a question on Twitter.
Any main entries want to tell me why Scrapper is awesome?
Yes.
That's what I asked.
Yes.
And Black Lion Chest answered in a not safe for work manner with effing hammers and lightning, Celeste, in all caps.
It was awesome. And then you DM'd me with why you love that response because it could be different things depending on what punctuation you added to it.
Yes.
It was entertaining.
And I'm just going to leave that as a nice little thought seed for you guys, because I laughed about it for at least an hour. Another response from Tough Love Critic was because right now, if you want to smack sense into the enemy, you only have one skill on toolkit.
Which one's that? I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but I assume it's a thing.
It's a thing!
You know, for people who love melee and enjoy that in their game rotation, then, you know, they're probably really going to enjoy Hammer with the Scrapper.
Yep, I want to just have little hovering drones.
You almost called them gyros again.
No,
Yes.
I didn't.
I want hovering gyros. Hovering gyros everywhere.
Hovering gyros. It's like a portable snack bar.
The snacker. It's perfect.
Oh, an Irish dog is telling us what Tough
Tool
Love
wrench
Critic
kit.
is.
Okay.
I never take that, so that's why I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used that.
I never have. I've looked at it and I went, meh. So.
And over on Facebook, Black Lion Daily Herald, which is just a little daily like, hey, here's some news that came out today kind of posting. And they do post data main stuff, so if you want to stay away from spoilers, yes. But they put links for the Revenant, Dragon Hunter, Daredevil, Berserker, Reaper, Chronomancer, and Tempest changes that are coming with the 3rd beta weekend event. And they also clarified that the Revenants will not be getting racial skills.
Yes, they explain why. How it was problematic with the other things that they're with Legends.
Ah, yes, of course.
Also, I don't know if we're talking about any of these changes for BWE3 or not, but I would just like to point out, I'm a getting float back. And therefore I am happy.
I actually have not looked at any.
I only looked at Chronomancer to be perfectly, because it's the only one I've really played enough to feel like I could speak somewhat educatedly on it. So yeah, we're getting float back. Gravity Well now performs a knockdown, a float, and then a pull. However, it no longer gives stability on the end.
Mm-hmm.
But increases the final damage by 50%. And I get where they're going with that, and I'm getting float back. I can't really complain. But the thing with it being called Gravity Well, I like the float because it's that, but also the stability part.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's the lack of gravity and additional gravity giving you stability.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of bummed about the loss of stability. But because I'm getting float back, I don't feel like I have any right to complain.
No, I mean, stability is handy. I think, how many other skills from Mesmer give you stability?
Next
that
to
mantra,
none.
and that's it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I don't even think you get it from the Signet of Inspiration.
Nope.
As an option, as a possibility.
Yeah, it's just that mantra that I didn't even notice gave you stability, except for when we were in Fractals and you were like, hey, you put this on and it gives you stability. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yes, but do you see how much stability it gives you?
Yeah, it was like 2 seconds at best.
Oh, right. They upped it. It used to only be 1 second.
Oh, jeez.
Useful.
So useful.
So in any event, not to make this all about the Chronomancer, even though I'm making it all about the Chronomancer. That was my yay, but yay, cuz float.
Mm.
Moving on, points of interest was this past Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what number is it at? 33? Ruby was joined by Leah Hoyer, narrative designer. She talks about the Mordrem Guard. I'm super glad she was on. I really like how Leah Hoyer presents things and talks about stuff.
She's very enthusiastic and passionate about her work, and it really comes through.
Yes, and knowledgeable on top of that. So, yay, pro Leah. I thought calling them the Mordrem Guard, I love giving them a name. There was a blog post about this too, correct?
Yes.
The Mordrem Guard are Sylvari that have answered the call of Mordemoth or can be dead that have been taken by the Mordrem and have somehow been copied.
Mm-hmm.
Which is terrifying to me. They have access to the same tactics and information they had before their corruption, and they still possess the intelligence and autonomy to put that to use despite their total devotion to the dragon. Although they've undergone physical changes to make themselves hardier and larger, Mordrem Guard maintain some aspects of their previous identity. Members of the Pact may experience the horror of recognizing their former comrades among Mordemoth's forces. Praise Morty.
Praise Morty. I foresee a lot of Shadow Link type fights, but with Destiny's Edge, where we run into these people that used to be our allies that have died somehow, but somehow have been copied and turned into. No, it can't be Tybalt because he's a char. They specifically say Sylvari.
That's true. It's a little bit vague the way they say Sylvari that have answered the call of Mordrem, or dead Sylvari that have been taken, like, because they just, or can be dead. Like, dead what? Anybody?
That's true. Yeah. Maybe, but I mean, Tybalt died a long time ago.
I do think it has to be a Sylvari, though.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Sylvari characters can hear the voice of Mordemoth, which may prove both a blessing and a curse. They have the chance to gain greater insight into the dragon's behavior, but it serves as a reminder that they are at a constant risk of corruption. Leah mentions that players will encounter a Sylvari character who struggles with resisting the dragon's call, and whether or not the Pact commander is a Sylvari will affect the outcome of their story. Bum, bum, bum.
And honestly, I wonder that if you are a Sylvari, they're able to resist it better because you're able to offer, like, valuable advice from your own internal struggle with fighting the call from Mordemoth.
Mm-hmm. Arishag is saying bodies of the other races are being taken, and Alaska Winter is saying Sylvari are the guard, but any dead become just average Mordrem.
Okay.
Which is still terrifying.
Yeah.
You know what? It totally makes sense in a way because Zaitan and Mordemoth are the opposites, and they're reanimating.
Yeah.
At the same time. Oh, this is very interesting. Oh, now you're adding, I think, Alaska Winter. Leah also said that the Mordrem Guard and the Nightmare Court are separate factions, and joining up with Mordemoth isn't necessarily in line with the court's ideals. This is something that multiple people have been theorizing on, and Leah pretty much put the thought that they are related or somehow similar to bed by saying that the Nightmare Court doesn't want to follow anyone blindly, so of course they will resist the call just as other Sylvari would.
Personally, I'm more interested in finding out what it does to the Soundless, because the Soundless have cut themselves off completely. I wonder if they're able to hear Mordemoth more easily or not as easily. I'd like to hear how that works.
Yeah. And I saw at least one person posit, and I'm pretty sure it was Wooden Potatoes, that it could be really interesting if we had to ally temporarily with the Nightmare Court, with Kaith and Fowlin being on the same team. Although, I was thinking at that point, what if the tables are turned and Fowlin has to help us take down a corrupted Kaith, right?
Kind of like that better, considering she still has the freaking egg, right?
Right? Like, we don't know.
Like, she answers the call and turns and decides to give the egg to Mordemoth.
Yeah. That would be kind of, dun dun dun. I'm having all the dramatic music.
Dramatic gopher.
Dramatic gopher music.
Yes. And there was also Gyro, special guest.
He was in Seattle.
Yeah. And he went ahead and was there for PvP 101. And they basically just talked about the updated stats panel for PvP and how you can see your stats for damage, defense, and all that good stuff more easily because it's there.
Yeah, it was nice that they talked about some things that I actually was like, oh, that's new, actually, and explained it very well. And chat is talking about how Aaron was soundless. So they can answer the call very quickly. They think soundless are more susceptible. That could easily be the case.
They could be more susceptible, or it could be that Aaron was already kind of crazy.
Could be, or because he wanted to join the Zephyrite, he had given up via soundless, and because he had blocked off his mind for so long and then opened it, it was like, floodgates open.
Mordemoth was like, hey dude, you can hear me now.
Yep.
Praise Morty.
Psst, praise party. So I'm wondering if soundless are as or less susceptible because they are very trained with cutting off outside noise.
It's hard to tell, and it could go either way depending on the particular Sylvari that we're looking at. I'm just curious to see how each of them reacts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find the soundless incredibly interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an article over at Relics of Ore by Shungaku, I'm terrible at saying his name, about the Mordrem invasion and why it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Even when it's bad.
Even when it's bad. Exactly. While there have been weekend events and some holidays in the past, none of them have been accompanied with so little fanfare. Definitely true. A feature that many players have asked for over the years is weekend events. The invasion is a simple series of events. It encourages the casual Zerg that has made Guild Wars 2 so popular with the drop-in, drop-out gamers. The last time we got content like this without a big story push was October of 2012 when they added a few open-world dungeons and Modus Sclerus. Side note, I have never seen Modus Sclerus, ever.
Yeah. I don't even know what it is.
It's a group of bosses, basically, that are like super elite, and you can read about them on the wiki. There's a lot of information there, but I don't want to spoil everybody if they are going to go looking for it. There's a list of known locations as well, but I mean, they're obviously rare as heck because they were added in 2012 and I still have never even seen one.
This is literally the first time I've heard of them.
Yeah, if ArenaNet has a team of even 2 or 3 that can focus on creating small events like this and other dynamic events to pepper throughout Tyria, it will add a great deal of longevity to the core game and serve to keep it relevant for the old guard. And I totally agree that weekend events and like little drop-ins like this add a lot of things to do for people who have done everything.
Yeah.
A new event chain. Well, cool. Is it something that's going to be really hard? Is it going to be something that's going to give me some really unique rewards? Well, then I'll totally do it.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that adds a lot to the game. Events like the Mordrem invasion lets a level 18 feel like they're at the forefront of the story rather than lagging 3 years behind, which is something that cripples some new players or some people from even getting into the game because they feel like they've missed too much.
Yeah.
It also serves to inform new players that the enemies of the core game are nothing compared to what's coming. Note, I do not condone the feeding of newbies to Mordrem terror glyphs, but I wanted to point out there is a silver lining to the difficulty spike. Additionally, the tangential thought necessary to figure out the events, throwing bombs, building catapults, will help new players discover parts of GW2 gameplay that they may not have encountered before.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, enjoyed the moment-to-moment gameplay of each event, and I feel 4 days is enough time to play the events before they wear out their welcome. Absolutely. 4 days? Awesome. That was a great time period.
I completely agree with that. It was actually something I said when I was playing the first few events, and I actually streamed them, that I was doing it. And I said on the stream that where the locations are for some of them, especially in the Essa Plateau, there's a lot of line of sight things.
Right.
Because they're in weird spots. And I was thinking, this could be really good at teaching new players how to position.
Yes.
In a relatively safe environment. Like, yes, you could go down and be defeated and have to waypoint back, but you're going to be around other people. You might get people who are reviving you. So now it's bringing veteran players and newer players to the same spot. So they can learn what to do in not low level zones, but they don't get to the super high zones and go, I don't know anything yet. you know?
These are people that have been playing for 2 weeks. They know how to play the basic functions of the game. But let's be honest, they might not be dodge rolling.
Yeah.
They might not be positioning themselves. That sort of stuff is stuff that you learn by experience and from people gently telling you to. But the other part of it is that
Hopefully gently.
I noticed that most of the people that came to these events were 80s. And if you've got a Zerg of 80s, even if they're downscaled, running through a zone, the lower levels are definitely going to have a hard time even hitting something to get credit.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear their experiences on that. I hope it wasn't too bad for them. I wonder if this was part of the plan.
Yeah.
As far as like everything we've just said, I'm wondering if that was what the event was actually supposed to do.
It makes sense. And I mean, it's been 2-3 weeks since free to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's about the right time for them to be getting up to like level 20 or so.
And I don't know, no one knows if they're going to do this event again.
Right.
But I was wondering just today, one of the chief, and we're segued a little bit away from Shungaku's article, but I'm wondering if the large part of the disappointment was with the low rewards for the effort. However, I'm wondering if the learning was part of what it was really for, and if their plan is to have them periodically. The low rewards are so that over a period of a few events, you get enough of the blooms to buy the things you want.
True.
If that's the case, that should be made
public.
It should have been made public from the get-go. Like, this is a weekend event, and we're going to have more of them.
Yeah. Because otherwise I wouldn't have decided to spend blooms on stuff I didn't actually want.
Precisely. That would have been nice to know. Finally, the one quote we pulled out from the article, while flawed, the invasion is a fun weekend event that I hope will breed more like it. It may be easy to berate ArenaNet over the negative elements of the event, but it is important to remember how many things, such as dungeon revamps, changing dynamic events and zones, and So Sun Cove, that were all abandoned after intense negative feedback. If we want ArenaNet to feel comfortable with taking risks with events like this, we as the community must be softer in our approach. Agreed.
Definitely agreed. Weekend events was something that I really started to depend on with Guild Wars 1, simply because it would bring back all of my guildies who were slightly bored with the game or didn't have it as their main game anymore. Mm-hmm. Because they would come and they would be working on a reputation, or they would be like, hey, I can get all of these pumpkin pies that I need for this one farm, and I can get a crap ton of them this weekend. So little events like this, little celebratory type events, it doesn't have to be hugely themed. It doesn't have to be anything. It's like, hey, guess what? This weekend, you have a 50% higher chance of getting a key.
Yes, or die drop weekends. I've been saying this since they took dies out of dropping in the game.
Exactly. Stuff like that, it really, really helps. Like a 25% XP in World vs. World weekend.
Yep.
Stuff like that. I know there's boosters. I don't care. I don't keep my boosters on my character. They're in the bank being useless. So stuff like this is really great, and it invigorates different parts of the games. I know a lot of this is going to be changing with the Tyria masteries, where with the maps you get specific rewards for doing things in that map. But this would also help a lot. Just every once in a while would be really great.
Yep.
And they could coincide it with a gem store sale, so they can sell more stuff.
That's true. Ethereal is saying the lack of XP, karma, and coins from any part of the event was a downside for them. And I don't disagree. I mean, I never really noticed. I was doing it just for the experience, the personal experience, not in-game experience. And Serene Temps is saying that if there is going to be more events like this with more ability to get blooms, they should tell people so that they don't throw away the blooms, because she had 5 and threw them away.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice to know. We're doing this, it's a one-time event, go.
Yeah.
Or even if it might only be one time, but we might do it again, we'll let you know a week afterward or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, the lack of not even getting karma seemed like a really weird thing for them to decide. Not even getting karma for doing the events.
There might be reasons for all that we don't know about, but it would be nice to know. It would be not nice. It would be interesting to know certain rationales. So that was a great article. I'm glad you popped it in.
I had a lot of fun reading it, and I definitely was nodding my head through most of it.
The 5 on 5.
We had a lovely time chatting with Kit the Traveler a couple of weeks ago now, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we asked her at least 5 questions. 5 generic questions that we will ask other people as well. But for now, it's just been Kit. We're calling our new section the 5 on 5. So for every 5 episode, so 165, 175, you get the gist. We're going to have this new section. Something different.
If it's popular, maybe we'll scale it up and give it a different name.
No, I like the 5 on 5. It's short and sweet. I actually really... We talked about this section...
A lot
for a long time. And to see it finally happen is really awesome.
And kind of a miracle.
Yeah. So with us today, we have the famous Kit the Traveler. So the first question, Kit, is who are you?
Like, are you asking if I'm human or an NPC? I don't know. I'm just a Guild Wars player. I've been playing since I was 18, the original Guild Wars, and kind of grew up with it along the way, and that's me. I'm just a player like you guys.
Yay!
And what made you decide to be so awesome and get involved with the community?
So in Guild Wars, the original, there was a lot of events. And yeah, in 2 we have a lot of events, but they're more with the story, and like every holiday there's other stuff that comes through, and then there's Nicholas the Traveler. There's stuff to kind of help the stale points of the game. Mm-hmm. So I just felt like, I'm going to give this a try. And I thought at first people were going to be like, you're ruining it or you're mocking it or anything like that when I first did it. But it came out like all positive, and it was really, really nice. And it just kept me going. And it also keeps me busy and my mind busy. So really enjoy it. Bringing people happiness is one of the things I actually like to do. So
you must be excited for the mentor system.
Yes.
Well, how much work goes into what you do?
Pretty much like every day, all day if I can. Recently, the move has kind of put a block on it, but if it wasn't that, it would be like whenever I had time. And then I would also put cash into it if I didn't have enough time. So I'd actually donate cash, turn it into gems, and then go from there. But it's just, I'm either in Silverways all the time, EOTM all the time, or farming dungeons, or whatever train I can get onto, and I'm gathering everything. I don't keep anything. And that's one thing that kind of is sad to see. Sometimes people think I'm like trying to steal this copper ore or like cheap carrots to like make some money system, and I really don't. I usually either take all that, put it back on the TP, and actually get more gifts, or I just actually give those back to other people that are just like needing it. So it goes back in a like full circle. It's a lot of work, and that's also why I kind of put up that I might need some help, because it also takes me, I start Friday night for the Europeans to come in, and then it almost lasts until the middle of the week, because a lot of people can't get on the weekends, and so I feel bad. So I don't usually put a deadline like I should be. So I'm like, oh, no, it's okay, go ahead. But then it's like, my mailbox is never empty then. So I don't know. I feel like if maybe I get a few more helpers, it might be a little easier. I also feel like the mail system and like hand trading system is a lot different from Guild Wars originally. Yeah. So it's like, I can't just be like, oh, just come up and trade me. Now it's like my mailbox gets filled up, and that's what takes all my time, because you can only send out so much mail per, I guess, time or whatever. So it's like 2 minutes, 1 minute most. And yeah, so it's pretty much the mail coming in is going in faster than me spitting it out back to you guys. And it's kind of a bummer, but it doesn't make me like not want to do it or anything, or quit and be like, screw this, it's too long. It's whatever. It's something Guild Wars has to do to protect us from like the gold farmers and all this other crap.
Your collateral damage. How exciting is it to see how well it's been received?
It gets like nerve-wracking because like I'll put a story up and then I'm like, and I told this to Lindsay. She's the wife of the husband who actually made it the original character. So like I told her the same thing. Like I always get like nervous, like, oh, I don't want to offend them because like it's kind of like you have artists, you have celebrities, you have sports people, you have a bunch of people that other people look up to. You know, you want to do something that's kind of in their range, but you also don't want to copy them. So I had to like try and keep it like traditional Guild Wars, but then have my own personality and my Yak's own personality. So it's pretty fun.
It's not copying though, it's inspired by. I would never have thought copying.
I'm glad you think that way, but apparently there's some others that when you Google yourself.
Oh, well, don't do that.
Yeah.
I love it. And
speaking on the topic of copying / admiring and honoring, do you RP in game other than through the mail?
Yeah. Only time I get out of character is if people ask a question like, when are you going to do this? Are you okay? Like when I went missing, because obviously moving. So like certain people concerned, I'll step out and just be like, oh, I'm totally fine. That's what's going on. Here it's at. But other than that, like if people whisper me, I like stay in character. Same thing in Mel. They respond. I continue being Kit the Traveler. I try not to break out of character unless it's seriously needed, like my mom bugging me to go do something. Because my mom plays on here too. So if she needs me to go run with her or wants to do something, or if I want to drag her along to help out, and that's that. But I try to keep it RP-ish and fun because it's just, I don't know, it's just a fun character to play. So
how do you keep track of who has already taken part to keep it fair? Because to maintain your own sanity, it's only once per account.
Right.
For people to take part in this.
They didn't know at the beginning, like they'll do it twice. And the only reason why I'll catch them is a lot of people are starting adding me to their friends list. And so that means you're on my followers list. And so sometimes I'll actually keep my friends list open. I'll kind of like just eye over it. And then I'll notice like either a name and see the name swap again and see it again. So then I'll send a gift still. I'll actually still send gifts, but I'll send like different amount. And I'll just be like, just to let you know, only one time a week, because you're ruining it for everyone else to get less or get something that's not, cool. So they always either return it, like they'll return it and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Or I got people who will be like, oh, I just won't do it again. And hopefully I'm not doing it again. I can't really control that.
You need a spreadsheet.
Right. Pretty much. So I try to go through the list. I try to pay attention to like names and then also how they talk to me. Some people actually forget that they sent the same message the same way. Okay. So I'm just like, nice to meet you again. Like, like I'll put PS, good job,
Right.
Is it once per account ever or once per account per week?
Once per account a week. Kind of like so like in Guild Wars itself, it's once a week. And it's just because if it was more than that, I am just one person. It's bad enough that I can't. Like, I need sleep, I need to eat, I need to go to the bathroom, and people just kind of...
I thought it was ever.
No.
I thought it was... So, I think that's what we said on our last show, actually. Yeah. I think we told people, you get one shot at this, make it good.
Whoops.
No, it's once... So once Friday hits, it's a restart in my book. So, you just trade me, and we go from there.
How many people are doing this every week?
Originally, it first started about 200. A lot of people thought it was going to be a joke. Like, I literally got Mel saying, like, just testing if this is a joke or not. And then, like, I would send stuff, and I'm like, oh, I won't say anything. I'll just keep RPing, won't break out character. And then it started building, and it was, like, 500 and 600, and now it's, like, over 1,000. And the only reason why I did this is I actually got a bunch of dye of a certain color, and I started sending it out and started doing the math, and then on the math on the freaking bags, and it's too much now. Like, there's too many people, but it's awesome. But it's like, I have 2 hands, a small mailbox, and a time span that I'm trying to, like, squeeze everyone in. It's fun. It's still, like, not, like, a mood to be like, oh, I give up. I can't do this. It's just a little harder on me. I wish there was an NPC in game that I could just be like, here, go to this person.
Well, maybe they will make
If
one.
not, uncap my mailbox. That'd be great if they can do that.
That would be amazing. I'm surprised that's something they haven't approached you about.
That would be one thing I wouldn't mind is just if you can uncap my mailbox or unlock the spam part, that'd be good. Because unlocking would help the people who spam me like, I can't mail you. For some reason I'm getting my mail back. And the people that don't understand the mail system, like if you get your mail back, it means it's just my mailbox is full. But to new people, they're just like, I don't think I got the right name. And they start panicking. It's like, it's okay. It's just my mailbox is full. And I can't really do anything besides try to keep emptying this whole thing out. So.
Right. What's next for Kit the Traveler? Anything new and exciting coming up?
Some more adventures. I'm trying. There's people that want me to like start putting what I'm giving out on a wiki, like on a page, and I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I find it like not fun and surprising. Mm-hmm. Plus, then there'll be people like, "Oh, what's the chance?" Like doing the chances, and then I don't want that. Like, yeah, they have it for him, but that's because he's an NPC, and one, he only had so many gifts to give out in the Guild Wars game.
Mm-hmm.
Guild Wars 2, we have like so many freaking things that it's bad enough that I have to like watch people, I have to control everything, and be like, oh yeah, let me note down that I gave out like 20 of these and 10 of these, and your chances of getting that is like, I can't do that. Like, I don't have the time. And that's not fun for me. It's not going to be fun for anyone else. So I think my goal is right now just keep writing more stories, hopefully grow like a couple more people that want to help out. I just hope whoever joins does it for the community and not just for like try to get gold or get like arena attention, because there's some people, you know, so it's like I don't want to like have bad mojo, and that's why I told Lindsay too, like I don't want bad mojo.
Yeah,
that's
totally
very
understandable.
Cool. I know, I'm just super impressed with what you've done. Honestly, since I just on the show tonight talked about how if I ever got a precursor, I'm keeping it. now listen to you, I'm like, oh, I sound awful.
Yeah, no, look, I have not gotten a precursor myself since I played this game. So if it probably did drop, I'd probably be like a hog. I'd be like, sorry guys, no, because I made legendaries for other people, but I had to hand buy out this like item. So it's like I've never made one just for me. Like I've yet had one, and the game's coming out soon for HOT, so it's like, well, at least for that one, you can like, they're gonna be a countdown, so maybe I'll get lucky in that department. But if not, my goal later is gonna be Twilight. I don't care. Let's get that sword.
Yeah, Kit may have to take a break for that one.
Right? That's when I'll just be like, I need to send a vacation. It's gonna be farming for mats and everything.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kit, for joining us. We really appreciate you being our first guest on 5 on 5. I mean, we love what you do for the community, and we can't imagine trying to do all of the farming and management that you have to go through. But we do want to extend our thank you. Heartfelt, of course.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for actually participating and joining along, and hopefully now you know that's once a week you could actually continue participating and not worry about once a year or a month or a count.
Right.
I was making it incredibly onerous. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Tales of Tyria.
We have a couple Tumblr, not entries because we searched them out. Zace has posted some deep thoughts.
Yeah.
So the fact that Mordrem can clone important Commander Mordrem in his army is a good way to explain how the commanders respawn constantly in the game. But what if, possibly, with the cloning thing, Scarlet? Oh my gods.
That's going to be crazy if that happens, and I totally think that it's going to.
Well, I kind of want it to now.
Yeah, because we're both like...
I'm pro Scarlet.
I didn't like her, but honestly, she's a really interesting character, so I'm cool with it.
Yep.
The Quag and Waddle for Cancer, as a brief reminder, is going to be happening on September 27th, 12 p.m. CDT. And this is all for gearing up towards Pink Day in LA, which is going to be on October 17th. So be sure to go and check that out.
Merilith, also on Tumblr, took a hilarious screen cap. He or she got a half-eaten axe.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently you can't eat axes. Or can you?
Yes, it says, follow your dreams, little Savari. Eat that axe. Just do it.
Half-eaten axe.
Indeed. And there was a parody put together with Sampo and Charm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cover of Shakira's Whenever, Wherever. It's about World vs. World. It's pretty awesome, actually. The video skills are high tier, as one can expect. And, Charm always brings some amazing singing, so very cool.
Over on our Facebook page, we were shared a video from Dave, which was actually from Suck It Love. Pretty sure they did Icepo 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is another one from them, and it is amazing, and it's Silver Waste Serenade, and it is totally stuck in my head several times, even though this was just posted for us yesterday. So we had 2 different people say, hey, check out this music video in as many days.
Mm-hmm.
So they're good at the catchy songs, I gotta say.
Definitely.
This is not a parody of anything. It's completely original, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Very funny.
Mm-hmm. That looks pretty cool. And over at the Cobb Cave, Cobbers has a charred doodle, and it's kind of a motion doodles and, just kind of practicing form and stuff like that, but really looks pretty darn good.
They're delightful. That is the word you are looking for.
Yes.
Delightful.
Delightful.
They're wonderful. Chartists over on Tumblr. Tumblr was so bountiful this week.
Mm-hmm.
Posted a cartoon, or a little cartoon of that new guildies are like baby char cubs.
Yes.
I laughed. I actually chuckled when I saw this. These are our new guildies. I will hand rear them until they are ready to be released into the wild. And then I chuckled and closed it down again.
Yeah.
Tabbed away from it, and then I was closing down my tabs before coming upstairs, and it was just that was big in the screen, the second panel. And I'm like,
It's pretty great. I liked it. It made me think of how you have to protect and nurture new people in the game. It's just kind of that's about right. They're little baby char cubs.
Yeah.
Thank you, Allona, for doing the show with me this week.
Thank you, Celeste. It was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nice 15-minute break in the middle. That was nice.
Yeah. And thank you, chat room, for being as distracting as ever and for sticking around through all of the fun, because it's great when you guys are here and active and all that good stuff. Thank you for downloading the podcast. We hope that you come back again next week.
For surviving the mists and the culmination of the game, which you still have time to put stuff in for.
Indeed. But most importantly, we hope to see you in-game.
May the Six watch over you.
So if you have a community event that you would like for us to share, please send us an email.
Legion calls.
And if you've got a burning question for our Ask an Azura segment, let us know.
Seize the moment.
And so now let's go ahead and talk about our sponsor.
More people should learn to barter.
If you are in dire need of audiobooks, or just, you enjoy books with sound, you can go to audibletrial.com/MMOreporter and you'll get a free audiobook.
I'm selling. You buying?
And if you use the coupon code MMOReporter at doghousesystems.com, you will get an additional 120 gig SSD drive for free on your next build, and or possibly a Superstar Destroyer.
No free samples.
So if you're in love with the show or the network, consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page. You should definitely check it out. patreon.com/MMOreporter.
Let's see the color of your coin.
So, Allona, if people want to get into contact with us to share their questions, answers, or corrections, how could they do so?
They can email us at gwreporter@mmoreporter.com. Twitter is @gwreporter. Our website is guildwarsreporter.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 616-666-6778 or use the widget on the right-hand side of the website. YouTube is MMO Reporter Network, and remember to like our videos and subscribe to the GW Reporter playlist. And while you're hanging out there, try some of the other shows. You might find something you like. Facebook is GW Reporter. Tumblr is gwreporter.tumblr.com.
You must visit more often.
And you can visit us on Twitter. I am at OneBigPear, as in the fruit.
And I am at Selyuki.
In a world where you can visit us on Twitter, I am Ultra, at Ultratown.
Or at Hunter's Insight, one word.
You're kidding, right?
Or you can find us in-game, where I am Selyuki.5046.
And I'm OneBigPear.1249.
And I am Ultratown.5683.
Incredible!
And you can get me in-game at Hunt, H-U-N-T, I forget my user display name or whatever.
I can't believe it.
Until next time.
Yes, that's right. So, thank you for coming and watching the video, and we hope to see you in-game.
So that's how it's done.
Test 1, 2.
Test 3, 4. I got all the lines going up and down. Look at them go up and down while I sing, sing, sing.
La la da 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 da
da da da. Silver wastes. Silver wastes.
Wait, sing that song again? I'm just checking levels.
No, I'm not going to sing it again because I don't trust you. Because you are going to go live.
Yeah. I think they heard the last silver waste in there. And for the record, you do not sound like Leonard Cohen.
So yay.
Let me just move all the stuff on my desk and make all the noise.
You should do that.
And we didn't split this at all, so...
Well, why should this week be any different than any other week?
Added greater precision?
Pessoaspa. English words.
English words. Added greater precision to the camera's position.
It would seem like the classy thing would be not to point this out.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.